blame, guilt. Yeah. Some people call that suffering, yeah? Okay. Now what happens if you think somebody else is responsible for an unconscious habit in them? Blame, anger,
It feels
irritation. Feels good, yeah? Yeah, there's a certain feeling of being right, and better than and all that stuff. But good, I'm not so sure I'd call it that. Okay. So when we think somebody else is responsible for an unconscious habit that's going on in them, how do we behave towards them? We try to change them. Isn't it? Anger, distance, holding our love back is very common. Separation, and disappointment, feeling betrayed, making them wrong. We try and point out how wrong they are, yeah, to them. Yeah. Yeah. That's what happens if we think that they're responsible for their unconscious patterns. Just that thinking, all of that stuff happens. Most of you have tried it once or twice this lifetime? Yeah. Once or twice, okay. How's it worked out for you? Yeah, we can compare research, yeah? We're independent researchers, yeah? So we yeah. Always goes the same way, yeah? But if there's an unconscious pattern going on in someone, and you can see that it's an unconscious pattern, you can see they're not doing it, usually they're not even aware what's going on in them. How do you feel towards them then? Compassion. Interesting, huh? Instantly there's compassion. Oh, they just don't see that. Wow. Then you have a way that if you feel moved, you can actually speak to them. Like I notice something that might be of use, but I see that it's not you, so there's no blame, there's no trying to change. Then maybe your seeing becomes a gift, yeah? Or not? Normally when we see and we think that they're doing it or that they're conscious about what's going on, then our seeing comes across in a way that's not useful to them at all. Can you see that? You've had that experience? Yeah. Yeah, because we come with an energy, yeah? Yeah. So what I've noticed in myself is that any time I'm upset with anybody, what's happened is something in me believes that that person had a choice in what they're doing. Check and see when you're upset with anybody, if that's going on in you. If you see they didn't have a choice, can you be upset? If you see they genuinely didn't know, can you be upset with them? But if you believe that they had a choice, then we have no choice but to be upset. That's a funny thing about choice. So here we are. Is there anybody that woke up this morning and thought, let me see how I can mess up my life? And not only that, everyone that I love. It's not how we think, is it? It's not how we operate. But it's how most of us actually function. Without meaning to, yeah? Isn't it? If you look at it. We don't mean to function in a way that's painful to the people around us. But we do. And we function in a way that's painful to ourselves. Yeah, I mean, when you say we're very good at it, it functions that way in us, yeah. Okay, so we're back to this question. Here we are. We all recognize we're in the same boat, yeah? We've got these unconscious habits going on in us, happening in space, happening in consciousness. Who's doing them? We can say consciousness, yeah? Or we don't even need to know. We don't know where they're coming from, but in the sense that everything is consciousness, it has to be consciousness, yeah? So consciousness has this amazing capacity to function in ways that are unconscious. I mean, that's astounding, isn't it? When you think about it, that's truly amazing, yeah? And here we are, and as humans there's this capacity for those ways to become conscious. Isn't it? That's awesome, isn't it? Those patterns that have been troubling mankind for centuries, generations, there's the capacity in us for those patterns to become conscious.
And how do they become conscious?
That's what we're looking at, yeah? So we had an experience already this morning, just as we started to notice what the habit of our focus was, yeah? Gently, no right, no wrong, just a subtle and gentle noticing. What's the habit of my focus? Why it's so difficult to pick up is because mostly our focus is habitual. And when our focus happens, in the focusing, a sense of me happens and a sense of life. And then we're busy with what we think life is, and we're busy with what we think we are. And as long as that busyness is going on, we have no capacity whatsoever to notice the focus. Isn't it? Okay. So once we've narrowed it down, we can see that all we're ever dealing with is habits of focus, yeah? Now there's another subtlety that's worth noticing and bringing into view here, because as our focus changes, not only does our sense of self and the sense of reality change, but our nervous system it shows up in our nervous system. It shows up in our bodies. Now, eventually those focuses will show up as dis-ease. So we were looking last night about this thing about you create your own reality. As long as we believe that, we don't have a capacity to notice what's going on. If we start to look and see what's going on unconsciously, then we have another capacity. We can start to see, but without looking from the sense of me, from the sense of I. We start to see as awareness. We start to see as consciousness itself, yeah? So, at the level of the body, and I mean, this is going on in every single cell. Our cells are either fully open to receiving the information of life in this moment, or they contract. That's what's going on in every single of your billions of cells. It shows up further in your musculature. When you're fully enjoying the moment, you're living with this moment as if it's the beloved. Feel what happens, even if you suggest it, what goes on in your nervous system. Something in you softens a little bit. How many of you can sense that?